Yo! What is up, Eagles? Get the win. 25-11. It was storming in Tampa, and the Eagles came through and stomped the Bucs. They close it out in the second half. Not perfect. Didn't put everything together, but damn it, definitely some improvements from last week. And the Philadelphia Eagles are off to another 3-0 start. The Eagles are off to another 3-0 start. Jalen Hurts was apparently dealing with flu-like symptoms, according to Adam Schefter. Probably wasn't feeling the best, but hey, he got the job done. He made enough plays to get the job done. Again, it was not perfect. We will critique, but nonetheless, the Philadelphia Eagles are sitting at 3-0. They're making improvements in certain areas, and they come out and they execute another win. And this was led by a lot of factors. I like how every part of the game contributed tonight. I like how every facet of this team contributed in some way. But man, who do we start with? Who does the game ball go to? I got two people in mind. Two people. Number one, we got to start by running it back with DeAndre Swift. All right, we can talk about AJ. We'll talk about Jalen. But DeAndre Swift, yo, they tried to tell me. They said, RB, it's only one game. It's only 1 week. Relax. No. Give him the keys. Give him the keys to the city, man. Everybody spent all damn weekend talking about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. No, the combination you need to be talking about is DeAndre Swift and Jason Kelce, because the way that those holes were being opened up. And did you see DeAndre Swift? He had a $178 last week. How about another $130 on top of that? All right, last week he had the most rushing yards in a game for an Eagle since LaShawn McCoy. How about another $130 on top of that this week? They said it was one game. They said he was going to split carries. They said he didn't have what it took to do it again. DeAndre Swift is a franchise back. Howie Roseman traded a 4th-round pick to get DeAndre Swift. Can we talk about that? A 4th-round pick. This man, Howie Roseman, pulls nothing out of somewhere every single time. 4th-round pick. Detroit gave up on him. Bring him home. He does it again. 16 carries for DeAndre Swift, 14 for Kenny Gainwell. They split it almost evenly. DeAndre Swift had a 29-yard run late in this game. He literally cannot be stopped. He does so much of everything. He can catch out of the backfield. DeAndre Swift is next up, ladies and gentlemen. DeAndre Swift is that guy. I've seen enough. And again, he brings elements from other Eagle running backs of the past, but he kind of combines them all into one. And the only thing I worry about with DeAndre Swift is not getting him injured by letting him run too much. And the Eagles tonight, in my opinion, did it absolutely perfectly. DeAndre Swift is incredible, ladies and gentlemen. He is the gem of this team. Nobody expected it, but damn it, everybody appreciates it. Let's talk about A.J. Brown. A.J. Brown, 131 yards, 9 catches. A.J. Brown all week, had to hear the media up his you-know-what. Oh, A.J. Brown did this. A.J. Brown had an outburst. A.J. Brown's got this issue, blah, blah, blah. Jalen Hurts tried to told you it was okay. Nick Sirianni told you it was okay. How many other players, Devontae Smith, had to tell you it was okay? A.J. Brown is perfectly fine. A.J. Brown is a wide receiver 1. A.J. Brown is a franchise cornerstone. And what did I tell you to do? I told you to take the over. And what did he do? He came out 131 yards, 9 catches. A.J. Brown is unstoppable. And one thing that I really liked today was that he had over 70 yards after the catch. You give it to him in space. He's too big. He's too fast. He cannot be stopped. A.J. Brown cannot be stopped. Devontae Smith barely had an impact in this game. Olamide Zaccheaus had a big play, 34-yard touchdown, but A.J. Brown is Mr. Consistent, right? He didn't have that statement game yet this year, and I knew it was going to be today, just by all of the noise that led up during the week. A.J. Brown is that guy. I'm sorry, he is. Give it to him every week. Give him 10 to 15 catches a week. He will never disappoint you. Now, he did have a couple drops in the end zone. I'm mad about that, but hey, it is what it is, man. He did enough of his job to help this team win. He did what he had to do. Helped his team win. I wish he would have got that touchdown. I might have kind of had a parlay on it, but it is what it is. Kenny Gainwell, 43 yards on the ground. Jalen Hurts, 277 yards in the air. How about another 28 on the ground? We'll get to the chat in a second, but we're going over this game, man. The Eagles dominant, especially on a defensive end as well. Especially on a defensive end. Can we talk about the Eagles? They only had 2 sacks in this game. They are now at 6 on the year. They're averaging 2 per game. But how many times did they hit Baker Mayfield? I got to give a lot of credit to Sean Desai in this game. He was fantastic, ladies and gentlemen. Sean Desai was fantastic in this game. He brought a lot of disguised looks. He got Baker Mayfield uncomfortable early in the game, and Baker never recovered. What do you want to do against Baker Mayfield? You want to make him turn the ball over. He was perfect this year. Sean Desai comes in, says, all right, we're going to bring Jalen Carter. We're going to bring Jordan Davis. We're going to bring all these monsters. And once in a while, I'm going to go in and throw in a Darius Slay or a Terrell Edmonds or a Nick Morrow, and I'm going to throw Baker off his game. Did you see how fast that pocket was collapsing? And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. Tell me if this is an overstatement. Tell me if I'm going too far. Jalen Carter looks like he's going to be an all-pro in 1 to 2 years. Jalen Carter might end up being one of the best Eagle rookies of all time. Am I going too far? I mean, I'm watching Jalen Carter, just some of these matchups, and we knew that he shouldn't have fell to the Eagles, right? The league messed up letting the Eagles get Jalen Carter. He's absolutely too dominant. Like, I'm watching Jalen Carter literally throw his man to the side with one arm. I'm seeing him punch footballs out of players' chests. It looks like he's not even trying. Then you have, it's like you added Jordan Davis this year as well, because he didn't really have a role last year. The Eagles' defensive line, their defensive line was historic last year. So essentially you're adding in Jordan Davis because he barely played last year, had an injury. Then you're adding in Jalen Carter. Oh, Nolan Smith had a hell of a play, knocked Baker on the ground. All right, like all these Georgia Bulldogs or whatever got into Howie Roseman to start drafting from Georgia and Alabama. I mean, thank you. Thank you. I mean, he's drafting these top tier players and look at the impact they are having. Jalen Carter is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. I'm telling you right now, if he keeps this up, if he stays on the field, he's just too dominant. He's looked, to me, like the best Eagles defensive player on the whole damn team so far. Insane. Insane. Baker Mayfield in this game, 15 for 25. Did exactly what he's been doing all year, except he made mistakes. Threw an interception. Bucs turned it over a couple times, fumble. Too easy, man. Too easy. The Eagles had almost, did they have 500 yards of offense in this game? I know they had 400 early in the fourth quarter. Let's see how many yards they have. 472 to 174. Now, the Eagles probably should have had about 40 points in this game. I'm being honest. They should have had about 40 points in this game. And if I have to critique, if I have to pick a couple areas, because again, it wasn't all sunshine and rainbows. Like, I know I'm hyped right now, but this game was not perfect. I'm just hyped at the fact that the Eagles put it all together, at least partially in all the facets, right? They hadn't had one game where it was like offense, defense, and special teams all came through. And let me not neglect the special teams, okay? Britton Covey had a damn good day. I don't know what he ate for breakfast, but Britton Covey, the way he was returning punts today, it was incredible. Braden Mann had a nice punt. Jake Elliott felt like it wasn't even in the game tonight. But Britton Covey had a couple great returns. The Eagles' defensive line led them yet again, and this defensive line is better than last year. And then you have the offense finally putting it together. You give Devontae and AJ and Dallas and DeAndre Swift the ball in space, defenses will not be able to stop it. They won't be able to stop it. And, you know, Jalen Hurts had a couple questionable decisions. He threw it into double coverage near the end zone, picked off, right? He had one earlier in the game, which was a miscommunication. Jalen still has not had a perfect game, but tonight I thought he just looked a little more comfortable and he made more plays and he found a couple of the big connection plays that helped the Eagles win this game. Anyway, welcome on in, everybody. Thank you for being here. We got 30 people up in the chat. We're going to be doing the halftime post-game shows here on YouTube. So if you guys could drop a like on this stream and hit that subscribe button, man. Welcome on in. Give me your thoughts. Give me one word to describe this game. Give me one player of the game. Who's the player of the game? Drop it in the chat. We'll read your comments, man. We will get to your comments. I got a couple stats I want to pull up as well. But man, you know, the Eagles starting to put it together a little bit more. Starting to put it together. Hasn't been perfect. They're going to have to be better against some of these better teams. But man, another dominating performance. I think what I'm most happy about is that they have found a running back. And again, I was a big Miles Sanders guy. You know that. I was a big Miles guy. But DeAndre Swift is another notch above Miles Sanders, just in terms of talent. Now, again, I like how he had 16 carries tonight. He had a couple catches out of the backfield, or one catch. I don't want him going above 20 touches. I don't want him to get injured. But there's just something about it. Even LaShawn McCoy tweeted during the game. LaShawn McCoy tweeted during the game. He said, I finally found somebody to give the number 25, to pass the torch along to. That is DeAndre Swift. What does he mean? He's giving him kudos, man, because he's just very elusive as a back. It's crazy to watch. Especially behind this defensive line, man. Like Miles, he hesitated way too much. DeAndre Swift just makes it happen. Couple cuts, boom. He's in open field, and he just can't be stopped. I think I'm most hype about DeAndre Swift. I knew AJ was going to show up today. I knew he was going to show up. But damn, man. Christopher Moore in the chat says, Nick Morrow made a play for the safety. Mark Perry says, time of possession is how you win. Jamie Slack says, we have the best O-line, D-line combo in the league. They both are imposing their will. I will say the offensive line played much better today. They had been, I'm not going to say lackluster, but they had been not up to expectation, I would say, in the first couple weeks. And the offensive line stepped up. Didn't hear Lane Johnson today. Didn't really hear Mailata, Kelsey, none of them. They all played well. I know Landon Dickerson ended up leaving with I think it was a knee injury. Hopefully he'll be okay. But damn, man. Even though they didn't account for all the points that I thought they should have, even though they didn't go for 40 points, which I felt like they left a lot out there, especially in the first half, I just like how they went out and finished business, right? Because, you know, the Eagles let up a late touchdown and the 2-point conversion. It felt like, okay, here we go again. Week 1, they let the Patriots storm back in the game. Week 2, they let the Vikings storm back in the game. It's like, uh-oh, here we go again. But they finally put down the hammer. They finally, on that drive, you know, had a couple first downs, extended it, and ended up running out the clock. It's not like, okay, now going to give the ball back again. They might come down, score a quick touchdown, then it's a 1-score game. No, you put it away. I thought they did very good against Mike Evans in this game. Again, I liked Sean Desai mixing it up. I saw Bradbury on him. I saw Slay on him. I saw Josh Jobe on him. Jobe had a very poor start to this game. And again, he was in the spotlight. You know, a late round pick, second year in the league, never has had a moment like this for himself. And I thought overall, so far in the first couple games, I can't be mad with how Josh Jobe is playing. Again, very young, very inexperienced, but he's confident. He's stepping up to the moment. And I thought Sean Desai helped him out a lot. I thought he kept a lot of help behind him. You know, last week he left him on an island. What happened? Addison, boom, touchdown. This week, no. Give him some help. I thought Sean Desai kept everybody in front. Now, again, there was one drive in the third quarter, or excuse me, what was it? The fourth quarter, right? Where Mike Evans was literally unstoppable. I don't know how many catches he had on that drive. It was probably about 5. And he had a one-handed catch above his head. And that's just Mike Evans. It's hard to defend that. A couple times, Blankenship was right in his grill. Can't do anything about it. Thought the Eagles extended some of these drives. I thought they ran a lot of time off the clock, and they didn't allow the Bucs to get going in their rhythm. They just shut them down every single time. And again, I said this during the week. Baker Mayfield always does this. Guys. He starts off strong. Couple good games. People start buying back into it, and boom. Once you hit him upside the head, he doesn't know what happened. He makes one mistake, And it keeps on rolling. It keeps on rolling. Eagles, I mean, they put him on the ground. He didn't know what to do. At one point, the Bucs are throwing little 3-yard out routes. They're throwing little screen passes. They didn't have any other plays in the playbook. And we talked about the running defense. We talked about the rushing defense. Which running defense was going to bite? This is actually really the main part of this game because we thought everything was going to be in the passing attack, right? The Philadelphia Eagles came into this game with the number 1 rushing defense in the league. The Bucs came into this game with the number 2 rushing defense in the league. Philadelphia Eagles held the Bucs to 41 yards on 17 carries, less than 3 yards per carry. You know what the Eagles did against the number 2 rushing defense in the league? They went for 200. 200 for the second straight week. The Eagles need to continue to run the ball. We said it last year. We'll say it this year. Everybody's going to be wowed. Everybody's going to look at the numbers of AJ and Devontae and Jalen, et cetera, et cetera. If the Eagles continue to keep up this formula where they run it 40 times and they throw it 37 times, right? And they keep it even and they utilize both elements of their game, they're almost going to be unstoppable. They have to continue to run the ball. And I know a lot of the new people don't like it. They want to see passing. They want to see the big plays. Get dirty, man. This is how you win. In the trenches, the Eagles' offensive line continues to open massive holes, and the defensive line is just too powerful. Big game, again, led by DeAndre Swift. He is your primary back. Kenny Gainwell is your complementary back. The Bucs have no rushing game, though. And how about Jalen Hurts? All right, here's my favorite part of the game. Jalen Hurts throws an interception. He throws it down to the 1-yard line. Again, into double coverage. The Bucs intercept it. And honestly, maybe Jalen Hurts was just thinking strategic. Maybe he was 10 steps ahead. The Bucs get it on their 1-yard line. Now, I could have told you 54 different plays, and I would not have picked that play where the Bucs are literally backed into their own end zone. They hand it off right up the middle against the defensive line who is just eating you up all game. I don't even think they made it 2 yards close to the goal line. Safety. Easy money. The game was over right then and there. Whoever the Bucs offensive coordinator is should be fired for calling that play. Crazy, man. Win is a win. The Eagles had one atrocious play call in this game. It came in the fourth quarter. Now, I'm not going to get into this conversation today. The whole tush-push play, right, that everybody cries about outside of Philadelphia. The Eagles continue to run this tush-push where everybody lines up around Jalen Hurts and they push him over the first down marker. Everybody continues to complain about it because they can't stop it. How about you wipe the damn tears off your face and find a way to stop it? But no, the Eagles keep doing it. It keeps working, right? And what happens? Teams can't stop it. Anytime the Eagles get in a 3rd and 1 or a 4th and 1, boom, easy first down. How about a touchdown? They got a touchdown on that play. But Brian Johnson got a little too cocky. Eagles were 2 yards away from a first down. And they line up for a tush push. They do a fake. Jalen Hurts trips over his own foot and goes down. I don't know what the hell that was, Brian Johnson. But other than that, you had a much better game. Red zone play calls, a little bit questionable, a little bit tricky. Got to improve. You got too cute early in the game, but you found a way to make it more sound in the second half. That's what I have on this game, ladies and gentlemen. The Eagles get another win. Not perfect, but they're working in other areas. They're improving. And I don't know. Even though they left points out today, it just was a sharper game, in my opinion. JDC in the chat says Swift or Jalen Carter for player of the game. Let's go to the comments. Let's see. Mark says he hits the hole really fast. Mitch, what's going on? Ryan Rose says Sean Desai mixing the plays of controlling Evans and defending against the run. He did a great job. Sean Desai did a wonderful job today. AJ says Baker Mayfield only plays good against terrible teams. Chris Moore says all alone in first place. And that's a great point, Chris. That is a great point. The Eagles handled business, right? The Cowboys. Oh, don't get me started with the Dallas Cowboys. Don't get me started with the Dallas Cowboys right now. You want to talk about a clown show? You want to talk about a clown show? I hope we have Cowboy fans in here watching this. I hope there are Cowboy fans in here watching this stream. The embarrassment that franchise is. Embarrassment. They lost to a backup quarterback. They lost to Jonathan Gannon. They lost to the damn Cardinals. They were talking about this team going to the Super Bowl after 2 weeks. Don't you see? It's the same pattern every year. Now, usually they wait till Thanksgiving or Christmas till they play a really bad team and they fold. This time they did it in week 3. They did it in week 3. All right, the Giants lost. The Washington Commanders lost. Eagles are the only team in the division that won. They got their leg up. They handled business. You see, even when the Eagles don't play a perfect game, they're so damn talented that they win. See, this is how you know the Eagles are a damn talented team, right? The Cowboys are a talented team, but guess what? They're not as talented as the Eagles. Because even if they played poor yesterday, they would have won that game. But no, you got Dak Prescott. He's out there. He needs a new prescription, man. What the hell was Dak Prescott looking at in that last interception, man? He throws it 3 yards to nobody. Throws it to Kaiser White. Oh, it was sweet. I slept good last night. The Cowboys stink. They stink. Anyway, back to the Philadelphia Eagles. Music Lover says DeAndre Swift is having an all-pro season thus far through 3 weeks, technically 2 because of the week 1 shenanigans. He didn't even get any touches in week 1. 2 games for DeAndre Swift, a $130 and a $178. And you want to know something, man? How about this? Shout out to Ruben Frank. DeAndre Swift is the first Eagle with 300 rushing yards in a 2-game span since LaShawn McCoy back in 2013. By the way, DeAndre Swift had the most rushing yards in a game for the Eagles since LaShawn McCoy back in 2013. That was last week. DeAndre Swift is putting up McCoy-type numbers, and the people out there, you should have seen the comments. They said I was overreacting. They said it was 1 game last week. Well, how about now? If DeAndre Swift had more carries today, if Gainwell was out again, he might have had 200 rushing yards today. Crazy stuff, man. Again, I want to give a shout out as well to not only DeAndre Swift, hometown kid, but how about Olamide Zaccheaus too, man? How about Olamide Zaccheaus? First touchdown as a Philadelphia Eagle. And what do you guys think about Olamide Zaccheaus and Quez Watkins? What do you think about that? Quez came into camp. They said he was going to be most improved, right? Taking the chip on his shoulder. A lot of drops last year. Lost the game against Washington. Hurt us in the Super Bowl. And in this offseason, right, he was working hard. He had the cryptic messages, blah, blah, blah. Eagles pick up Olamide Zaccheaus, hometown kid, grew up about 30 minutes away. And, you know, he comes out here. He had what, like 4 or 5 touchdowns last year and the year before? Usually around 400 to 500 yards, maybe a fourth option. He comes in here and he hasn't played at all yet because of Quez Watkins. And I'll tell you what, man, I'm not ready to go overboard yet, but I would give Olamide Zaccheaus some more touches, man. I would give him a couple more touches because he looked pretty damn good to me. Extended that one play. Jalen Hurts had him. That was his best throw of the night by far. But, hey, man, Zaccheaus has some uphill speed, man. He can get down the field. Olamide Zaccheaus can stretch the field. He's very, very unique. He's very crafty in the slot. And, man, you could just move him around. I liked it. And he actually caught the damn ball. So shout out to Olamide Zaccheaus. First touchdown as a Philadelphia Eagle. This Eagles team is just loaded with talent. That's what it is. Now, they have to hope that everybody stays healthy. Again, that was a beneficial thing last year. But, man, if they can stay healthy, they can, and it's, again, they're only going to get better. You look at the upcoming schedule. Who do they have? The Commanders twice. I know they got the Dolphins. That's going to be a tough game. The Jets. Aaron Rodgers is out. Like, how far can the Eagles go before they lose a game? How far? Mark Perry says Dallas got exposed. Yeah, they did. Yeah, they did. L. Rob says Philly is such a well-rounded football team that's indisputable. They can beat you in a bunch of ways. They can win ugly. They can win pretty. They're comfortable in close games as well. And again, I like how today they finally laid down a hammer and they finally ended the game. You know, they didn't let them come back within one score. No, they put it down. And with 7 minutes to go, the game was pretty much over. So yeah, man, big game for the Eagles. Obviously, the identity of this team has been the defensive line, again, led by Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis of all people, but they are good. And this team is set up for a really good future. When Brandon Graham retires, when Fletch retires, they got two young disciples waiting, man. They are they're talented. I want to see Nolan Smith play more. Hassan Reddick's a damn good player. He hasn't really made too much of an impact. Right? We haven't heard his name a lot. We haven't heard Josh Sweat. Nolan Smith had a big play tonight. Big, big play. So I want to know from you guys in the chat, what do you think will be the Eagles' first loss of the season? How far can they go? How far can they go before they lose a game? Are you impressed by this performance? Do you think they still have a lot to work on? Are you happier with this game than other games? Is there things you're still mad about? Give me your thoughts in the chat. I really want to know from you guys in the chat, so let me know. Before we jump into reading some of those comments, shout out to our sponsor here of the A to Z Philly Postgame Show. Again, guys, hit that like button, man. Hit that like button. We got to get them likes up, man. YouTube's not pushing our channel. A lot going on there. We got kicked off of Facebook. We need y'all to hit that like button and subscribe to the show. Share it out to all the Eagle fans you know. But hey, shout out to BetMGM, man. Enjoy all your favorite sports like never before at BetMGM. Sign up using the code ATOZPA and receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. When you register with BetMGM, you'll get instant access to a variety of parlay selection features, live betting options, player props, and daily boosted odds specials. And with BetMGM at your fingertips, every play and every game matter more than ever. So find out why BetMGM is the king of sportsbooks. Literally, go download the app right now. Sign up. Use the code ATOZPA and get up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if you don't win your first bet. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. I told you guys before the game. Take AJ over 68.5. He went for 131. Essentially, you got to listen to me, man. I'm guiding you in the right direction. All right, let's go to the chat, man. Pont Flair says, Jalen Hurts struggled tonight. Shout out to the Philly Bulldog defense and Covey for balling out. I wouldn't say Jalen Hurts struggled tonight. I'm not going to say he had his best game. He didn't struggle. He had a couple questionable decisions, a couple missed throws, but overall, I thought Jalen was more comfortable in the pocket. He was more composed, and he stayed in a little bit longer. He went through some more progressions. He didn't miss guys wide open down the field in terms of just seeing them. I thought Jalen played all right. Sirius says, Job is playing like garbage, and no one is pointing it out. He is the reason for a lot of the slips. I know the Eagles' passing defense doesn't look too hot, but, I mean, they only gave up 11 points. I know the defensive line bailed them out a lot, but the Eagles' passing defense will get better in time. And I'm sure they'll be working to find a replacement for Avonte Maddox. It was a short week, you know, in terms of when the injury news came out, blah, blah, blah. I know Howie will be on the phones, and, you know, there's a lot of time. Music Lover says, I'm feeling 8 out of 10. Jalen still got to work on his stuff. 2 interceptions, needs to stop being jittery in the pocket, but special teams and defense are unstoppable. Yeah, I don't think Jalen played perfect, but I don't think he played terrible. I think there's just a few things he is, you know, missing, and I agree. He's jittery in the pocket, and he kind of scrambles too early. One thing I would expect more of is for them to utilize him as a weapon on the ground. You know, and they haven't really been running him as much. Maybe they don't want him to get injured. But you still got to have a few tricks in your bag, because if you have Jalen Hurts who can scramble, you know, and run for 15 to 20 yards at any time, you know, before he's even touched, it's like there's just too many weapons on offense. And you could just really confuse the heck out of these defenses. So I don't want Jalen to become a stationary quarterback and not have any runs at all in an entire game. But I thought he pulled out a few here and there. Jamie says Dolphins will be the first true test week 7. Tell you guys what, man, the Eagles got to handle business against Washington. I'm a little concerned about that. It's weird how the Eagles only have, 3 games at 1 o'clock this year. Very weird schedule, but Washington's always an interesting one, right? They're going to come out, play a scrappy game. The Eagles need to take care of business. They need to take care of business. Mark says, Bird Dogs. Pomflair says, if Watkins doesn't hurry up, Zach and Gainwell are going to take his spot. What is your record prediction for the Eagles? Well, I had them at 12 wins. So far, I'm on pace, man. So far, I'm on pace. They're going to play tougher teams. Schedule is not as easy as last year. The Eagles earned all their wins last year, but they're going to play tougher teams this year. The Eagles need to fix some of these little things as they approach, week 10, week 12, week 13. It's going to get tougher for sure. So they got to work on it, man. Overall, though, I like that Jalen's getting his weapons involved. I would like to see a little more of Dallas Goedert. 5 catches again. Devontae didn't really do much today. He didn't have to. He didn't have to do much of anything today because, again, it was the A.J. Brown and the DeAndre Swift show. Lane Johnson tweeted out just a little while ago. He says, y'all made it sound like a home game. 3-0, go Birds. I don't know if you guys peeped, man, but the crowd was about 65-70% Eagle fans. They were celebrating, honoring Rondé Barber. Didn't matter. Eagles take over every stadium. Take over every stadium, man. Another stat here I saw, shout out to Elliot Shore Parks. He says, with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts as the combination of head coach quarterback, the Eagles are 23-2 in their last 25 regular season games. Jalen Hurts is 20-1 in his last 21 games. I mean, that's nuts in the regular season. They've had a 10-point or more lead in 20 of those 25 games. All they do is build big leads and win. I mean, can we argue that? Can we argue that as bad as people think Jalen Hurts played, or they didn't do that, or they didn't do this, still winning games? Good teams find a way to win. They find a way to win. And, obviously last year they came out of the chute and they were literally unstoppable for 7 weeks. But, they're ironing some things out, right? You had a team that went to the Super Bowl. You added some new pieces, added some young guys. You're figuring it out. And if Jalen can just get back to that level that we know he can, that's what they paid him for, right? We could be the Bengals. Eagles could be the Bengals right now. I don't know if they're winning, but they were struggling against the Rams. They might go to 0-3. They could be the Vikings, 0-3. No, they're 3-0. They're 3-0. Did you know there's only a couple undefeated teams left? Eagles, Dolphins, who else? Niners. That's it, I think. Right now, the Eagles, man, they're doing their thing. They're winning games. They're winning games. And again, I'm not here to sit up here and say everything's all good or everything's all bad. I'm just analyzing it how I see it. If you want to ask me what is the number one concern, well, let me talk about one guy today. Obviously, I think health is a concern, right? You want to get a nickel corner in here that has experience, but we kind of talked about that. The linebackers I thought played pretty well. Again, Mike Evans did his thing. I thought Darius Slay was a little bit off today. I don't think Slay had his best game. He let up that touchdown. He let up a couple big plays. I trust in big play Slay, though. I trust in big play Slay and James Bradbury, maybe because Eagle fans were so deprived for so long of a good corner duo that I just trust in those guys, and they're pretty damn good. I trust in Blankenship. I mean, really, if you want to ask me what is one area that I think needs to improve, I mean, it's just staying healthy, really, right? They tackled well today. not turning the ball over, maybe, right? I guess Jalen just not turning the ball over because he's got, 3 interceptions and a fumble so far. Other than that, I think it's just kind of ironing out some of these early season things. But I'm very happy that they're 3-0. Very happy that they're 3-0. And I think the revelation of this season, the one thing I was concerned about, well, I could say play calling. Okay, Brian Johnson, another issue I'm concerned with, especially in the red zone, but he's getting better. He's getting better. This is his first year as the offensive coordinator. But I will say, the one revelation, the one thing that has made, I was here. Okay, follow me. I was here before this game. Feeling pretty good, right? Pretty good. Now I'm here. And it's not because of how they won this game or whatever. It's because of the revelation of DeAndre Swift. If DeAndre Swift can stay healthy and they have a complementary backfield of Kenny Gainwell, DeAndre Swift, this team can go miles, and there, no pun intended there. They can go miles above where they went last year. Those two are damn good. They got to stay healthy. They got to continue to figure it out. That's my takeaway on this game, guys. The Eagles win again. They're 3-0. We'll read some more comments. We'll go through a few more things, but I don't know. I know there's going to be this game is going to get a weird kind of reception, I think. There's going to be some people that are happy they're 3-0. Some people are going to be really mad that Jalen still doesn't look like his MVP self. But again, you got to kind of lower the bar a little bit because he played so damn good last year. And then there's just going to be the people that say, another mediocre win. A win, but another mediocre win. Pon says, I want to see Rashad Penny. There's just no room for him. There's no room. And Mike says, Jalen flu game. I love it. I love it, man. Adam Schefter reported that that Jalen was dealing with flu-like symptoms. Maybe he didn't feel the best. Whatever, man. Whatever. And I just saw this quote from Jalen Carter, which I love. I want to pull it up here. Josh Tolentino talking to Jalen Carter. He says, quote, I love this defense. Nobody is worried about who the next man is in here. And that speaks volumes to the locker room, to the culture, speaks volumes to who this team is. They don't have guys that are only worried about themselves. They don't have guys who are just over the top. It has to be me. No. Next man up. Next man up. And man, Jalen Carter, as I said earlier here in this show, Jalen Carter is on pace to be one of the best Eagle rookies ever. The guy's just unstoppable. He just is. He's unstoppable. Go through a few more things here. Let's see. Hurts is the man tonight, says Andrew. Man, 261 yards combined for AJ and DeAndre Swift. Told you guys, man, stop paying attention to Taylor Swift. Start paying attention to DeAndre Swift. That is the real Swift here. Now the Eagles are going to play a short week. They're going to play on Sunday afternoon, 1 p.m. It's going to be a weird one, man, because, again, the Eagles haven't really played at 1. You know, they're prime time now. They're big stuff. The Eagles are going to be going up against the Washington Commanders. And, you know, Sam Howell had like 3 or 4 interceptions this past week. The Eagles should be able to beat them, man. Here's the numbers on Britton Covey, by the way. Shout out to my guy, Josh Reynolds. I didn't know the actual numbers, but look at that. 14-yard return, 52-yard return, 15-yard return, and a 30-yard return off safety. Shout out to Britton Covey, man. We give him a lot of slack, but damn it, he was good tonight. Oh, yeah, one other play I want to talk about, too. How about Sidney Brown early in this game, right? It was still low scoring. Nobody had really asserted their dominance yet. And Mike Evans was open in the end zone, and Sidney Brown came in, and he made a hell of a play to rip the arm of Mike Evans, who is one of the best receivers in the league, never gets talked about enough, and Sidney Brown, the rookie, makes a huge play to rip that ball and keep that from a touchdown. That was a huge, huge play by Sidney Brown. Huge play by Sidney Brown. I did not want to forget that. Had it written down. Yeah, man. And then the Jalen Carter punch out. Like I said, I guess my main takeaway from this game is that the Eagles left a lot of points on the board, but it still feels like they put it together a lot more than they did before. You held Mike Evans to 5 catches. I thought he had more, honestly. I thought he had 5 on one drive. He must have had like 4 or 3 on that drive, but that one-handed catch was nuts. But you still held him in check. Mike Evans, do you guys know this? And shout out to Ruben Frank, because I was reading some of the stuff and looking at some of the numbers. Do you know Mike Evans has never not had 1,000 yards? He has never not had 1,000 yards. That's how good Mike Evans is. He's a Hall of Famer. And Ruben Frank did the numbers on it. He's the 9th best receiver 9 years into a career, yards-wise. Like, Mike Evans is almost unstoppable. And he showed it on that one drive. But, again, that's why I'm happy with Sean Desai, right? People can complain about the passing defense and, you know, they're giving up too much in front and they're letting guys in open space. But they only gave up 11 points and they held Mike Evans in check. Last week, they held Justin Jefferson. I know people are going to say, oh, he beat Slay X amount of times. He didn't have the big play. He didn't go for the big play, the big touchdown. Eagles have been holding these guys in check. And I'm happy about it. I'm happy about it. Chris Godwin did nothing. Their running back, 14 carries, 38 yards. They had no running game. No running game. And you took a team that did not make any mistakes yet, no turnovers, and they turned it over 3 times. And that was the game right there. You force turnovers, you put it in your own hands, and you make plays. I'm actually pretty happy with this win. I like how they finished their business today. And now it's on to the Washington Commanders. I don't remember if that game is home or away. I think the first one is home, if I'm not mistaken. By the way, the Eagles went 10 for 16 on 3rd down, which has been much better than prior weeks. They had 25 first downs in this game compared to 11 for the Bucs. And the Eagles almost had 500 yards of offense, and they dominated time of possession, 39 minutes to 21. That is how you do it. That is how you do it. And again, every other team in the division lost, so you keep on pumping it through, man. And man, I mean, my who did your game ball go to? How about that? We'll end off each week with our game ball. Who does your game ball go to? One person, drop it in the chat. Once again, welcome on in, and thank you for being here. A to Z Philly post-game show. We're going to be here live every single week, halftime and post-game. We'll be dropping a ton of videos. Who's your game ball go to? I got to give it to DeAndre Swift again. I have to. Just the element that he brings to this offense. He's elusive, man. He's something special. I think after last week, people thought, okay, nice game. We'll see how it mixes with Kenny Gainwell. But he did it again. He did it again. And again, just you know, a lot of guys stepped up today. A lot of guys stepped up. Rich says, best secondary performance by far. Reed and Bradbury were back. Jalen Carter wrecked everybody. Absolutely. It was great to have our guys back in this one, man. Blankenship, couple big plays, had the interception. Bradbury and Jalen Carter, I mean, he's crazy. Half a sack tonight. I think he had two tackles maybe? Big hits on Baker. They should be scared of Jalen Carter. He is too damn good. Ponce's defense deserves the game ball. I love it. Swift, Jalen Carter, I love it, man. All right. Appreciate everybody for being here, man. Once again, the Eagles take down the Bucs 25-11. They advance to 3-0. Short week coming up. Eagles Commanders 1 p.m. on Sunday. Can the Eagles keep it up? Can they continue And can they push through and get another win? First game against a division opponent. Can they push through and get a win and start off 1-0 in the division? We will see how it all plays out. But once again, A to Z Sports Philadelphia, if you guys have not yet, turn on the notifications. That is important. And subscribe. Push this content around. Thank you all for being here. Big win for the Eagles. And they're on to the next one. You guys have a great rest of your night, man. Peace.